So on today's episode of The Business Of, we're going to be discussing e-commerce. We're going to start from the very beginning and we're going to define what e-commerce is before we go into anything else. We know that during the COVID pandemic that we're experiencing now, a lot of purchases have been made online. And I think this will be the general trend, going on it has been since 1994, but I think the trajectory of e-commerce is going to be exponential, especially during this coronavirus. So stay tuned. This is what we're going to be talking about, the business of e-commerce. What is e-commerce? Stay tuned. It's Tuesday, June 2nd, and today in The Business Of, we'll be talking a little bit about e-commerce. Now, what is e-commerce? What is e-commerce? According to the website shopify.com, e-commerce, also known as electronic commerce or internet commerce, refers to the buying and selling of goods or services using the internet and the transfer of money and data to execute these transactions. E-commerce is often used to refer to the sale of physical products online, but it can also describe any kind of commercial transaction that is facilitated through the internet. So your Amazons, your eBay, any platform that offers a service for you to buy and sell online, that transaction is called e-commerce. Whereas e-business refers to all aspects of operating an online business, e-commerce refers specifically to the transaction of goods and services. So it's the transaction of goods and services. The history of e-commerce begins with the first ever online sale, which was on August 11th, 1994. A man sold a CD by the band Sting to his friend through his website, NetMarket, an American retail platform. This is the first example of a consumer purchasing a product from a business through the World Wide Web, or e-commerce, as we commonly know it today. Since then, e-commerce has evolved to make products easier to discover and purchase through online retailers and marketplaces. Independent freelancers, small businesses, and large corporations have all benefited from e-commerce, which enables them to sell their goods and services at a scale that was not possible with traditional offline retail. Global retail e-commerce sales are projected to reach $27 trillion by 2020. We're already in 2020. So sales in e-commerce is projected to be $27 trillion. So let me do that again. Global retail e-commerce sales are projected to reach $27 trillion by 2020. So what are the types of e-commerce models? There are 4 main types of e-commerce models that can describe almost every transaction that takes place between consumers and businesses. The first one is the business to consumer. The B2C, the business to consumer model, consists of when a business sells a good or service to an individual consumer. Example, you buy a pair of shoes from an online retailer. So that is the business to consumer model. The second one is business to business. When a business sells a good or service to another business, example, a business sells software as a service for other businesses to use. Your accounting software. The third one is consumer to consumer. When a consumer sells a good or service to another consumer, example, you sell your old furniture on eBay, and eBay is an e-commerce platform to another consumer. So if I sell my furniture to you, but the transaction is online, that is considered e-commerce. The fourth model is consumer to business. When a consumer sells their own products or services to a business or organization. So an influencer offers exposure to their online audience in exchange for a fee, or a photographer licenses their photo for a business to use. The consumer to business model is really popular. Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, you do have influencers on that platform, and you, in order to get the word out, in order to market your product or service, you may work with them in order to get some traction or to further promote your product or service. These are some examples of e-commerce. Number one, retail. Now, retail is defined as the sale of a product by a business directly to a consumer without any intermediary. Second one, wholesale, the sale of products in bulk, often to a retailer that then sells them directly to consumers. The third one, drop shopping, the sale of a product which is manufactured and shipped to the consumer by a third party. Fourth one, crowdfunding, the collection of money from consumers in advance of a product being available in order to raise the startup capital necessary to bring it to market. Fifth one, subscription, the automatic recurring purchase of a product or service on a regular basis until the subscriber chooses to cancel. So subscription, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, Apple Music, all of those are subscription model. Sixth one, physical products. Any tangible good that requires inventory to be replenished and orders to be physically shipped to consumers as sales are made. So physical products, any tangible good that requires inventory to be replenished and orders to be physically shipped to customers as sales are made. The seventh one, downloadable digital goods. Downloadable digital goods, templates and courses or media that must be purchased for consumption or licensed for use. So I made the example of Spotify and Apple Music. If you can go and stream the music, but if you want to purchase it, you can then download and the music can belong to you after you pay for it, of course. Number 8, a skill or set of skills provided in exchange for compensation. The service provider's time can be purchased for a fee. So this is a little introduction to what e-commerce is. E-commerce in today's world, especially now as we are going through and wading through the COVID-19 pandemic, e-commerce will be become paramount in terms of commercial activities online. People will still go in stores, but e-commerce will definitely be one of the industries that booms during this time, that really explodes. I understand that Amazon had to close some stores because some of the sellers on the platform were price gouging during COVID and selling their products for exponential costs, which is unfair to the consumer. So just to recap, we defined e-commerce as electronic commerce or internet commerce, refers to buying and selling of goods or services using the internet and the transfer of money and data to execute these transactions. E-commerce is often used to refer to the sale of physical products online, but it can also describe any kind of commercial transaction that is facilitated through the internet. Also, we spoke about the history of e-commerce, the first transaction being on August 11th, 1994. A man sold a CD by the band Sting to his friend through the website Netmarket on August 11th, 1994. Since 1994, there has been a global revolution and evolution of e-commerce, and sales are projected to reach $27 trillion by this year. It's projected that global retail e-commerce will reach $27 trillion by 2020. We're already in 2020, so we know that it's probably more than that. We went over the types of e-commerce models: the business to consumer, business to business, consumer to consumer, consumer to business. And we have examples of different types of commerce. We have retail, wholesale, drop shipping, crowdfunding, subscription, physical products, digital products, and services. Now that concludes our introduction to what e-commerce is, and feel free to comment, like, share. If you have any questions, if you want to share what you know, feel free to let me know. This is The Business Of with me, Allison. So like, comment, share. See you next time on The Business Of.